So if you're anything like me, you probably waited around to the last minute to buy gifts for everyone, and Amazon is kind of going to be your best friend at this point. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Gear Related. Today we're going to be going over my gift guide for this holiday season. And like me buying gifts, I've also waited till the last minute to put out this gift guide. Like most of you, I work a full-time job. It's hard to get to a store before something closes. Other retailers can sometimes take over a week to get stuff to you. But if you're a Prime member on Amazon, you can normally get like a 2-day shipping, sometimes even faster than that if you're in more of like a metropolitan area. So Amazon is kind of your best friend when it comes to purchasing something at the last minute, whether it be a Halloween costume. I'm guilty of that this year. Or pretty much anything. If I can wait till the last minute and get it on Amazon, I'm going to do it. So everything featured in this gift guide, I did check, and it will be available on Amazon, and you should be able to get it with Prime shipping, and it'll get to your house a lot quicker than other items. Anyways, let's just jump into it. So the first item on the list is going to be the Streamlight Microstream, the USB edition. I'm a big fan of the USB edition because you can just recharge it pretty quickly if it dies on you, and it's like a standard micro USB port. And I know the world is shifting to USB-C, but everybody still has a ton of these little micro USB cords laying around, so you can always find a charger for this thing. And when it comes to size, budget, and lumen output, this thing is really hard to beat, and I always kind of find this little thing in my pocket when I really don't want to know I'm carrying a flashlight but still have one on me. I did do a full video on this light, so I'll leave a link to that here just in case you are interested in finding out some more information on this light. Alright, this next one is going to be the Casio World Time watch, and I picked this watch up a couple of months ago just on like a budget impulse buy because it was like $15 on Amazon at the time, and I've completely fell in love with this little watch. I've actually almost completely stopped wearing my Apple Watch Ultra, and I've just been kind of rocking this little Casio around. I like this watch so much, I actually picked up the one on the metal band as well, and I kind of rotate these out depending on like what I'm wearing that day. I'm a big fan of the more traditional old school digital design of these watches, and they still keep most of the features that I found myself needing every day in my Apple Watch Ultra, like my timer, my alarm clocks, stopwatches, things like that. This World Time watch has all of those, so I really haven't missed the Apple Watch, and it was kind of nice not to be getting all those notifications from my phone on my wrist if I kind of wanted to really zone out and get some work done. So the next item is going to be the Civivi Mini Praxis, and I've been a huge fan of this knife since I picked it up a couple months ago, and so big of a fan that I couldn't find mine because I carried it just the other day, and I'm pretty sure I left it in the pocket of my jeans, and it's not buried in my dirty clothes in the hamper. So I'm going to have to go dig that out after this video, but I'll throw up some clips here because I did do a full video on this knife. So if you are interested in some more information about that, you can check that out. This knife's only going to come in at about 30 bucks on Amazon, so it might be one of the best bang for your buck options you can get. So this next item is actually going to be a Zippo lighter, and I've been a big fan of Zippo lighters for a long time now. I really just love the old school, more traditional, just click open of the lighter, the feel of it. Day and age, you can get a ton of these awesome inserts to put inside these lighters. Like this one I have here gives you a soft flame, and if you hold this button down, it turns the lighter into more of a torch. I have a couple of these different inserts as well as different lighters. I'll leave a link to those down in the description just in case you are interested in taking a better look at those. I'm not a smoker or anything like that, but I do find myself needing a lighter pretty often just with starting fires outside, whether it be, cooking over a fire pit, or I also have a wood burning stove in my house. So I am using a Zippo lighter pretty frequently. This next item is actually going to be something I saw in a gift guide a couple of years ago and decided to pick up for myself. And it's going to be this Stanley mug here. I've been a fan of this thing ever since I picked it up. I saw this in one of Last Line of Defense's Christmas gift guides, and I'm a big fan of his channel and his content. And he puts out some awesome gift guides every year, so I highly recommend you go check out his video as well. And ever since picking up this mug, I've really grown to love Stanley's products. So I picked up other things like this little coffee mug here. And I also have, I don't know if you can see back there, a big Stanley jug back there. When I'm really trying to hit my water intake for the day, I'll just fill up that jug and kind of sip on it throughout the day. And primarily in the mug itself, I either keep sweet tea or I fill it up with coffee, but I think it's actually like a Stein mug, so you can put any of your, favorite beverages in it. And I primarily stick to coffee in this one. Alright, this next item is going to be the SOG PowerPint, and this is my personal favorite EDC multi-tool just for the size, price, and function you're going to get with this thing. This is probably the best bang for your buck multi-tool you can get. This thing is only coming in at about 40 bucks on Amazon, and you're getting a ton of useful tools in this compact package, but it still has a decent sized plier head on it, and that's probably my most used tool on this thing. Alright, this next item is going to be just any Swiss Army knife. There's a ton of different options to choose from. I'll link some of my favorites down in the description just to kind of help you out with that. These things come with several different tool sets, styles, shapes, and colors. I was a big fan of Swiss Army knives when I was a kid, and I've kind of rekindled my love for them over the years, just kind of remembering those times in my youth. Alright, this next item is going to be the Maxpedition micro pouch, and I personally use this as like my own little personal micro toolkit that I keep in my EDC backpack back here. It's got a multi-tool in it, some zip ties, band-aids, things like that. If you're interested on me doing a full video of the breakdown on what I have inside this thing, let me know down in the comments and I'll try to get that put out for you. You can normally find this thing for about 20 bucks on Amazon, so you really can't beat it for the price because this thing is pretty rugged. All right, this next item is kind of turned into like, I guess, a necessity on my key setup here, because I don't know if you're anything like me, but I'm really bad at setting my keys down somewhere or leaving them like I did the mini Praxis in my pants or something like that. So when I wake up in the morning for work, I'm kind of having to run around hunting for my keys. Until I got this little Apple AirTag. You can actually use the Apple Find My app to make this little AirTag make a little ringing sound, so you pretty much never lose your keys again. So I've been a huge fan of this, and I honestly don't know if I could live without it now. All right, this next item is going to be like either a hat or a beanie. I really like these Carhartt style hats. I have some earth tone colors here that are some of my favorites. I also have like a Carhartt beanie here, and then I also have some of my own beanies that I have on my website. Just really any hat or beanie, I'm just kind of using that as a general purpose item. I'm a big fan of hats. I have a ton of different hats. I also designed some of my own hats. I have these on my website as well. There's a lot of designs like these trucker styles. Then you have more of like the dad hat style hat. So anyways, just some form of hat. I know a lot of people appreciate those. I also have given a lot of hats as gifts in the past. All right, next we're going to be talking about the ESEE Izula, and this is my personal favorite EDC fixed blade. It's just the perfect size that I can still put it in my pocket, but it also has like a good size handle so I can get a full grip on it and a decent sized blade on it as well. And you really don't have to just pick a ESEE Izula, but just a fixed blade knife in general. It's a very useful tool, and you really won't realize how much a fixed blade will actually come in handy until you start kind of using one. You don't have to carry one on your person if you don't like that, but carrying one in a backpack or a vehicle, just if you really are needing like a hard use tool, they can really come in handy. And I just recommend the ESEE Izula just because it's a great size, it comes from a great brand, and it's relatively inexpensive compared to some other fixed blades out there. I've customized mine a little bit to fit my carry better. This is a custom sheath that I got off Etsy. I put the little ulti clip on there. These are some custom scales that I found from, I think, the Knife Connection. And then I've put a little leather loop on there. And yeah, that's kind of what's made it my favorite EDC fixed blade. All right, next we're going to be talking about the Milwaukee Fastback. And this is a pretty popular item. Like, YouTube really loves the Fastback. I don't know why. It's a great little tool. I actually like to keep this like in. I have like a little tool belt when I'm doing any kind of like home remodeling or working in my shop or something. And I just kind of stick this down in the pocket of my tool belt most of the time. It's got a utility blade on it, and you can really gum this thing up and not really have to worry about it like I would some of my nicer knives. It's got a screwdriver on it, bottle opener, a few other little tools. Actually super fidgety too with this little button lock design. Got a nice little pocket clip on it, and you can get this thing at a pretty inexpensive price as well, and so you don't have to really think about it if you are kind of really using it for some hard use tool stuff and tearing it up, getting paint on it, things like that. All right, this next item is going to be the Benchmade mini Griptilian, and the reason I'm going with this knife and a Benchmade is because this is the first like real quality knife that I actually picked up for myself several years ago. So a lot of people actually like equate Benchmade in their mind as like a super quality brand, which they are. I'm a big fan of Benchmade. The mini Griptilian is also probably the lowest barrier to entry into Benchmade. Sometimes you can find it on the used market for about 100 bucks. I think right now it's going for about 150, but the price does kind of shift on that. But also don't be afraid to look on places like NAF Sale or eBay to find one in like new condition. Those are great options, and I try to do that with a lot of my knife purchases as well to save a little extra money. Benchmade is kind of the brand name that's going to actually impress your everyday guy out there. Like if you pull a Benchmade knife out of your pocket to cut something and the guy next to you notice it, he's going to be like, oh, that's a nice knife there. Like he equates that in his mind. All right, this next item is going to be the Leatherman Wave Plus, and this is, I think, one of the best-selling multi-tools out there. I'm a big fan of it, and this is actually the multi-tool that I keep inside of my little Maxpedition Micro here, just to have it with me at all times when I'm on the go. It's got some really hard-use pliers on it. It's got an assortment of several different tools, and I'm also a big fan of carrying the Leatherman bit kit as well with this thing, because this does have Leatherman's interchangeable bit driver on it. So the bit kit would also be a great stocking stuffer if you did decide to pick this up for someone. And this next item is actually going to be just a bundle of socks. I actually just picked these up for myself because I was running low. I don't know where socks end up going to, but it's like they just constantly disappear. And every year or so, I'm always having to buy some more. Some of my personal favorites are these Dickies Dry Tech Crew socks, because I am typically wearing boots most of the time. They come in a ton of different color ranges, so just whatever you're into. My favorite socks are probably Darn Tough socks, but those can run pretty pricey per pair, so I don't have a ton of those. And the older I get, the more I find I really appreciate just getting a good pair of socks for Christmas. So this last item is actually going to be a jacket. I've actually received a couple of jackets as gifts myself for Christmas, and I personally am going to be giving some jackets this year as gifts, so I think it's a great option. It's getting colder out there, and people really appreciate a nice jacket. The one I have on here is kind of more of like a shirt jacket. This is from Wrangler. I'll leave a link down to it in the description. Some of my favorites are like these Carhartt. You can get the zip hoodie or just the standard hoodie. This jacket is actually like a Levi's Sherpa jacket, and it was actually gifted to me last year, and it's personally probably my favorite jacket that I own now. I wear it all the time. And I recently just picked up this jacket myself. This is a Carhartt, just like a more heavy, harder use jacket. I found it on sale on, I think, Academy during these Black Friday deals going on. Any, jacket, the person, their style, just what they would appreciate and like. So this is more of just like a general use item as well. If you could use some help finding some more pieces of gear for you or someone else, and be sure and check out this video here where we go over some more pieces of gear. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you're subscribed, so I'll catch you on the next one.